Welcome to Down the Garden Path. I'm your host, Joanne Shaw, landscape designer and plant lover. I enjoy discussing down to earth tips and advice to help you seasonally manage your garden and landscape. And I also aim to bring you interesting and relevant topics to educate you all about the landscaping and horticultural industry. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Down the Garden Path. Thank you for joining me here today. And I'm very excited. We're doing kind of a different show in the sense of exploring something local to my area of Ontario, Canada. And with me is Barbara Pratt. Barb is a retired bookseller and avid gardener. And she was the past owner of Blue Heron Books in Uxbridge. So we're talking about the Gardens of Uxbridge Tour today, and I'm really excited to learn more about how this all began, and I know you will be too. So during her book selling year, she became very interested in Lucy Maud Montgomery, who lived for a good part of her life in a little hamlet of Leakside, just north of Uxbridge. Did everybody know that? I know I didn't. Uh, so she was a founding member of the Lucy Maud Montgomery Society of Ontario, and she now heads up the Gardens of Uxbridge Tour, which is an annual and very important fundraiser for the Lucy Maud Montgomery Society of Ontario. Welcome to the show, Barb.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So I'm loving learning a little bit about this history of a community that's just a little north of me in Uxbridge. So your passion as a bookseller, and I'm sure an avid reader, you fell in love with Lucy Maud Montgomery. And I was saying before the show that I don't, because there is a Nova Scotia connection, is there not? Or am I
No,
missing
it's
something?
not Nova Scotia, it's Prince Edward Island.
Prince Edward Island, thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, so I feel like when I hear her name, I think of East Coast. So I was at this garden tour a few years ago and learned a lot about that she was here in Leakside, and her husband was a minister at the local church.
Mhm.
So yeah, so tell me a little bit about, or tell everyone a little bit how this really got started.
How the Lucy Maud Montgomery Society got
Yes,
started?
yes.
Well, we realized, a bunch of us realized, a group of us realized that, yes, she lived just a few minutes north of Uxbridge in Leaskdale. And she was the minister's wife there for 15 years before they moved on to uh, another position in Norval, Ontario. So we realized this is a very historically important thing in this
Mhm.
area. So we, first of all, lobbied the government to declare the Leaskdale Manse a National Historic Site. And after we did that, we did a lot of fundraising and we worked for a couple of years to restore the manse, which had fallen into disrepair,
Mhm.
to restore it to the time of Lucy Maud Montgomery's tenure there. And we had those were wonderful 2 years because we had photographs that she had taken of the interior and exterior of the house while she lived there. When
Wow.
it was her first house as a bride, and she was married, came to Leaskdale, didn't know anything about Leaskdale or Ontario or what she was getting into. But she had been living with her grandmother for years and couldn't marry until her grandmother died because she was looking after her grandmother.
Oh.
So she came, this was her first house. So she furnished it. She was already a published author. She had published Anne of Green Gables. She had some money. She bought furniture. She looked after the furnishings and she started gardens around the manse. So we worked to restore it to uh, her photographs that she took, and look for furniture that looked like her furniture. We didn't
Mhm.
have any of her artifacts,
Okay.
unfortunately, but we had so much fun doing it. Then
I
we have
bet.
opened it up to the public, as a destination, a tourist destination. And people, I have to say, people come from all around the world
That
because
is
she is
fabulous.
known all around the world.
Yes, and I
And
can't believe I said, Nova Scotia, not Prince Edward Island. I definitely know it was Prince Edward Island, so I
yeah,
apologize for
yeah,
that. But yeah, so that is lovely, and it's so Uxbridge is beautiful, but it's not necessarily on the tourist destination when you're coming to the
yeah,
GTA, right? So it
yeah.
is lovely to hear that people are making the trek to her manse. And so it was wonderful that the government, did all of this, but it does take money, right, in order
Mhm,
to continue to maintain the property and maintain. And I think it's wonderful that you had the pictures that so you could replicate her gardens and the interior.
mhm. Yes.
So yeah, so then the connection to the garden tour as being a major fundraiser, that must have been a kind of a nice turn of events.
Yes, it was. Since the garden tour itself is in its 29th year. It was started by the community care in Uxbridge, and they ran out of, at some point, ran out of energy to run it. It's a complicated, busy time.
Mhm.
And they were going to let it go. And we thought this is a great connection with the Lucy Maud Montgomery story, especially the garden connection
Yeah.
and the fact that it can be a good fundraiser for us to maintain her house and her gardens.
Right. And so 29 years, so that's incredible. Is it
Yeah.
always the same? So let's say this year the dates for the garden tour are
June 21st, just
June.
one
Oh,
day.
just one day. Okay,
Yeah.
June
Mhm.
21st. Excellent. Is it like always like the third week, in June?
It has been the last few years, the third week in June.
Okay.
Uh, Previously, it was in July, but we chose June as a better time, maybe when people are still around. They're not at their cottages or traveling.
Hmm.
So I think it's worked out. It's
Yeah.
it's a toss up. Some gardens are, better in July than in late June. Some gardens are better in early June than in late June, but
Yeah.
uh, we've chosen the third week in June.
Yeah. I think you chose a good date when I know of what I know of gardens. And it's the challenge is the weather, right? It's not really the gardens. It's,
Yeah.
like this year, many things are late and things like, are still like azaleas and, even the forsythia bloomed into May, like way into May. Like the end,
Yes.
I think
Yes.
I was at an event and I said to them, no, no, the forsythia should not still be blooming now, It's
Yes.
so yes, we can't control the weather, so we just need to make the best of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So how does the garden tour work? How many gardens do you aim to have? That because since it is one day, right? You want to be able to have people to manage to
Yeah.
see them.
Yeah. Typically, we have 8 gardens on the tour, and we try to have 4 of those gardens in town in Uxbridge,
Okay.
and then 4 in the countryside, country gardens. So, uh, last year, for instance, they were pretty far flung. It was a drive of a few miles to get from one garden to the other in the country, and then the 4 gardens in town. This year, they're pretty close together, the country gardens, so it won't be such a long drive. But, the countryside's beautiful at this time of year.
Ah,
Driving through country
absolutely.
roads is pretty nice thing to do.
Yes. Yeah, you're not driving on the 401, right? Like, or the
No, we're
busy
not.
highways, right? So
No.
it is a beautiful and Uxbridge just north of I'm in well, Uxbridge is part of Durham region, right? So it's the north.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm in Pickering and so this is a great way to do it. So people can get tickets and I'll have all this in the show notes as well, but
Yeah.
if people were interested, is there a website or a way for them
Yeah.
to check it out online?
The website for the garden tour is gardensofuxbridge.org. And
Okay.
that's where you go for tickets.
Okay. I think I've seen tickets. Are tickets available at garden centers?
No,
No.
no,
Okay. There's
just online.
just online. Okay.
Yeah. For
Okay.
the
I think
last 3 years, we've been selling the tickets just online, and it works perfectly.
perfectly. Absolutely. That you mean having everything handled, processed that
Yeah,
through one location, right?
yeah.
When you are choosing gardens, so you had mentioned before we went live that you're looking for gardens for next year.
Hmm.
So can people repeat? Like, can you have can they come year after year or every other
Yes.
year?
Yes, they can repeat, but not immediately. Uh, three of our gardens this year have been on before, 6 years ago and 5 years ago.
Okay.
And one in-town garden was on 4 years ago, which is pretty close, but the garden has changed so much because the canopy of trees around the garden
Mhm.
has been lost. So it's really a completely different
Ah.
planting situation.
Oh, that is so neat. And that is true about gardens. Like you could, every 5 years, right? Because they change.
Mhm. They
Either in
do.
that case where people lose mature trees and now the garden has become sun, or the trees, the trees sometimes grow. I have that situation at my house way faster than I predicted. So I lost my sun. Like, yeah, I had when the ice storm took out my, trees and I put
Oh,
in new trees. I was like, yay, I have sun. And now it's like, oh my gosh, where'd my sun go?
what do you,
So
yes, you have to change your plantings.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm in the progress of process of doing that. So which is always a fun thing for a gardener, right?
sure.
Now, Lucy's, so as part of the manse, like is the manse part of the tour as well?
Not this year
Okay.
because there is road construction up between Uxbridge and Leaskdale.
Okay.
So this year, the Lucy Maud Montgomery Society is serving their refreshments in Showbrook Gardens, which is a seniors residence on the edge of Uxbridge that also has lovely gardens and a lovely big uh, uh, meeting space, party room, and we'll be setting up there with displays and our signature tea and scones.
Wonderful. That is great. And how else should we sorry, as far as the tour goes. So it's in addition to just looking at the gardens, you also have something else happening at each of the locations, right?
Yes, in every garden, not every, most gardens, we have an artist or two or three displaying their work or working on their work. We have an interesting artist, Linda Virio, is in one of the gardens, and she does encaustic painting with hot wax, and she'll be doing a demonstration and have some of her work on hand. We have another metal sculptor, Diana Borhoff, will be in one of the gardens with her beautiful sculptures that are perfect for garden
Yeah.
inclusion. Another fabric artist, Anya Kustra, does fabric sculptures that are weatherproof and are very popular around this area and beyond for garden decoration. And we also have, it's a very artistic community, and we
Yes.
have a lot of painters, amateur painters, professional painters who will set up as plein air painting in the
Oh,
garden. So that's
lovely.
fun too.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's more like I feel like it's not just a garden tour, like it really
that's it.
is a beautiful day, the stop for refreshments.
Yeah.
And Uxbridge I know when I did attend 2 years ago, and we did, stop for refreshments. And then there was a cool food truck, I believe, in town as well. So after the tour, we went to the food truck and like it really was a full day, like a really nice day out. And I think it's such a great event to know you're also now supporting uh her legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the legacy of
2
Anne of
years
Green
ago.
Gables, like, I just think, you know what I mean? It come obviously the author, Lucy Montgomery,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
yeah,
2 years ago. Was that the day it rained?
might have
I
been.
think maybe it was 3 years ago.
Mhm.
It rained all day during the garden tour. It was the most fun garden tour of all. I mean, we are rain or
Yes.
shine, of course.
Okay.
People were in their boots and umbrellas and the gardens looked so beautiful in the rain.
Mhm.
So
That's
it was a
wonderful.
it was a very happy day. Nobody complained.
No, gardeners would never complain, for
No.
sure. No, it wasn't. I think it was a cool day, but it was not a rainy day the day we
Okay.
did it. The day my friend and I did it. So yes. And I would be going again, except that I'm going on a trip. So I leave
Oh,
yeah,
good for
so
you.
yeah, so I will. I'm hoping to see some other gardens, although I'm going we start in Amsterdam and I'll be missing out on but I miss the tulips, but it'll still be nice, I'm sure.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah. Is there any connection to, like, obviously Prince Edward Island, like the Lucy Maud Montgomery stuff there? To Do they know about you?
Oh,
Is there?
yes.
Yes. Okay,
Oh, yes.
good.
Yeah, there's a conference every 2 years at the University of Prince Edward Island that we attend, and that brings people from all over the world to listen to lectures and talk about her history and legacy and her books and whatever.
Yeah.
And we do attend that every 2 years. We have a conference here in Leesdale every 2 years, and this is the on year for our conference. So we will be expecting um, it'll be a 2 day conference at the church in Leesdale, and we'll be expecting people either in person or by video from South Africa, from all over the States, from Europe, and of course from Japan, where Lucy Maud Montgomery is a very popular following.
Oh, that is isn't it warm your heart? I'm sure as a bookseller you knew, right? That the legacy of a Canadian. And at a time where, like, now it's not that easy to get your book out for now either, but you know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
but for like a Canadian back then to now be such, yeah,
Yeah,
so international.
yeah. It's
Yes.
a phenomenon.
Hmm.
And yeah, she was famous in her time, but that her legacy has lived on so strongly is a phenomenon.
Yeah. What else would you like us to know about the garden tour, and what people, why people should attend, aside from all of the great reasons we've already given them?
Well, when you get your passport, first thing in the morning, you have a map showing all the gardens and a description of all the gardens, so you can decide where what route to take. And on the brochure, on the passport, there's also a list of important side trips
Oh,
that would be interesting. For instance, Richter's Herbs
mhm.
is very close by in Goodwood, just a short jaunt from Uxbridge. There are other places mentioned. Um, there's oh dear, I don't have it with me.
Okay.
But anyway, we have other points of interest in
Okay.
the area, so you can fill your day.
Oh, which is, I think, also nice to know that it is a full day. That sometimes I feel I've done some tours where it's like that's it, like it's over. And
Yeah.
I know I'm a plant nerd, but but
Oh,
I think it's you want to if you want to really see a lot, and I think eight is a great number.
yeah. The other place that I would mention is Jeff Mason at Mason House Gardens. He
Okay.
opens infrequently to the public, but he will be open that day. And his trademark is really cool plants.
Right. Yes. yes, and yes, and he's well known in Uxbridge. So
Yeah.
that is wonderful that he's opening for that very reason. When you're choosing, just back to the choice choosing gardens and kind of planning, I'm sure the location, like you said, is a part of it. Are you looking for something in particular? Do you feel like you want, I would think you'd want variety or the scale, like you want something a little bit that people would be able to spend some time at?
Mhm. Well, we want a variety, as you say. Some of our gardens, one of our gardens on this tour is just a tiny little garden that is curated to the nth degree and is just a little gem. And it has um, a water feature that is central and then a walkway around it. And as I say, the plants are so interesting that he's chosen and planted together. Another one, a big country garden, is it's been on before. It has a tree collection of hundreds of trees and a large variety of, for instance, lilacs and but forest trees as well, and a very, very knowledgeable host who will be giving a lecture or a guided tour at 11 o'clock in the morning and at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, lovely.
Another of the gardens has an old barn foundation that they've made into a dry garden with succulents and wonderful, wonderful plants. What else can I tell you?
Oh my goodness.
There
Well,
are
I
so
think I just
many.
want people to know, especially if you're from Uxbridge. So if there's any
Yeah.
listeners from Uxbridge, because I feel like people, oh no, my garden could never be in a garden tour.
Oh,
My
yes.
right? Like, oh
Yeah,
no, like I couldn't, but really it's not like it's about the flowers and the plants. And if there's a weed or two or the grasses or whatever, if something's not blooming, that's all okay because we're gardeners. We get it,
I know.
right?
Yes. And we pardon the weeds. We look past the weeds
Totally.
to the lovely things that have been
Yeah,
planted
yeah,
and cared for.
yes.
So no, a variety and I think we're looking for an interesting garden,
Mhm.
something that has a personality or shows the personality of the owner. Um, a garden that has overcome some obstacles,
Losing trees, that kind of
like,
thing, right?
yeah, and or a garden that's all shade, or a garden that's
Mm,
all dry sun, or things that gardeners are interested in that they can and to get ideas for your own garden to
yeah,
adapt ideas is a lot of the reason people come on the tour.
yeah, and I think it is a very good reason for people to do garden tours, to attend garden tours, because I feel like if you're just looking at what's your neighborhood is growing, right? Where what your neighbor, your immediate neighbors, or what you're growing, it's, it is what it is, right? But I feel like as someone who's gone to a lot of garden tours, both in here and in the US over the years, um, it really is great to see because you'll be like, I have those two plants, but I never thought of putting them beside each other, or I
That's
never
right.
thought of having three of those. Like, one isn't, you're right, one isn't enough.
That's
So I
right.
feel like even as a designer, you're learning something all the time, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And
you see a plant that's flourishing in somebody's garden and you think, mine isn't doing that well. I wonder if I should change the location or do
Mhm.
something with it.
Yeah. Now, personally, are you a gardener?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. My garden was on the tour uh 3 years ago, I think.
Okay. Well,
The
that's
day
pressure though, to
the
be an
day of the rain.
organizer. Oh, the day of the
Yeah,
rain.
and when I'm an organizer, I say to people, as you just did, don't worry. We're all gardeners, but I know I felt the pressure when my garden was on the tour and I went a little crazy.
Like, what do you planted new plants or just as far as tidying up?
Tidying up.
Yeah.
And more plants, more
Yeah.
plants.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's always room for more. There's
Yes.
always room for more. Well, that is good. So in addition to this podcast, which I hope attracts some new people to the garden tour, I know you've been promoting it online on Facebook.
Mhm, mhm.
Where else can we kind of promote it?
Well, the local newspapers and the signs are out, the posters are up, the signs will be out all over town and all over the area
Okay.
come Saturday, and word of mouth for sure.
And now Pickering, is there any way I could get, can I connect with you somehow or have you connect with somebody down here? Like, cause I feel like it's just a little
Yes,
north, right? Like we
yes,
should be up there supporting.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
anything in Pickering. I mean, we do have posters in some of the garden centers around Pickering,
Okay.
but anything else that we can do in that area,
Yeah. Okay.
we certainly welcome.
Yes. Well, I'm also part of the Pickering Garden Club. I'm past
Okay.
president. I was past, it feels like I say past president, but I feel like I was past president that was president forever. But one of those situations.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
no longer on the board, but I will definitely share this with the president and with our club as well. We
Okay.
do a bus tour every year that and I know the lady who organizes our bus tour every year, she takes a group, so she's going. Barbara, her name is also Barb.
Oh,
She'll be at the garden tour, and
oh,
she's
excellent.
there every year. And I heard the ladies talking at our plant sale about how excited they were about the garden tour.
Oh,
So in
that's good.
Uxbridge, so it
That's good.
really
No,
is great. But I feel like I want more people to know.
yeah,
And even to be honest, even my clients, because I feel like it just helps them to see, right? And
sure.
I also feel that everybody's garden's different. It's okay if there's a pool, if it's a new garden, if it's a really mature garden, right? If
Mhm.
you're a new gardener, if you've had, I think sometimes too, the people feel like if it's been, let's say, maybe professionally designed, or there's hardscaping that's been installed that not everybody installs. Oh no, like mine won't fit in. Like I can't, and it's not about that. I think hardscaping is important in the
Mhm.
sense of transporting you from one place to the other, right? And
Yeah,
framing a garden, but
yeah.
it doesn't disqualify you.
No, no, it doesn't. No, but we do look for the personal touch in each
Good.
garden.
Yes, 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 and I would hope that, yeah, that is important too.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard for me. I really strive for that in homeowners, and getting to know them a little bit, right, when you're designing their garden, so that there is something for them. And I think people come to me for that very reason. I don't know if it's the down to earth in my business name, like they really want. They usually kind of know what they want. And although, the famous words, low maintenance.
Yes. Is there
uh,
such a thing?
no, I tell them that too. I say I don't design with plastic plants, and they're high maintenance because you have to wash them.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So yeah, so that is wonderful. Well, I will do my best to pass this and promoting the show as well on Instagram and all my different vehicles that I will
Oh,
promote the
excellent.
show. So
Yeah,
I hope that
that's
will
great.
help.
Yeah.
And
One of I didn't mention one of the gardens is really going into local, at least natural plantings. So
oh,
that'll be of interest to a lot of
yes,
people.
yes, the trend toward native plants.
Native plants, yes.
Yeah, that will be helpful as well. I hope to see some pictures of that because it is harder, I will say, right, to design
Hmm.
with them. It's
Yeah,
easy, like, I've been putting them in people's gardens unbeknownst to them for a long time, but now
yeah,
that people are wanting more, even my own, it's kinda like, "Okay, what else can I add and how can I incorporate it?"
yeah.
So yeah, so that is great. Having a garden for pollinators and native plants
Hmm.
is wonderful. Aside from the garden tour, is there some other, and you've got the admission, the little bit of admission to go to the manse. How
Hmm.
else do we help support the foundation?
Well, I'll tell you, the Lucy Maud Montgomery Society is very active during the summer. And on Wednesdays, we have our summer teas.
Really?
So there's the poster that we
Oh,
uh, will be putting up around. And
okay.
every every tea on a Wednesday has a different speaker or a different program, and we accommodate about 60 people in the historic Leesdale Church, which was associated with Lucy Maud Montgomery. And one of them on July 23rd is the uh, presentation of a new book called Mistress of the Leesdale Manse by Kathy Wazelenki. And Kathy has just published this book about Lucy Maud Montgomery's years at the manse and her day-to-day, activities and how she was received in the community and how she was active in the community. It's a fascinating book. Lots of historical pictures, photographs, and so on. Kathy's done a lot of research. On July 30th, we have a Japanese tea ceremony with
Ooh,
Momo Yoshida, and you can learn about the history and importance of the Japanese tea ceremony. And then for the last uh, 12 years, uh, we've had a one-woman play called Maud of Leesdale, starring Jennifer Carroll. It's a one-woman play. And it Jennifer Carroll becomes Lucy Maud Montgomery and tells her story from the stage. And it is a very affecting and emotional play to watch. And that will be on August the 20th. She's doing a performance. And then further on in August, there are 3 performances. Our website is lucymaudmontgomery.ca, and all these events are listed on the website, plus
excellent.
other interesting things.
Yeah, excellent. Can you that little
The
PDF of
flyer?
that, yeah, the
Uh,
flyer for the tea, can you send that to me?
Sure, I will.
Electronically? Yeah,
Yeah, I
excellent. I'll
can.
put that with the show notes, because
Okay,
I think
good.
that's a great thing. And I won't be here for the tour, but I can do these. I'm so excited. And see, and this is the challenge, like Durham region is big. You
Yeah,
forget how big it is.
it
I
is.
know we have 12 garden clubs. I know that's separate. Like Uxbridge has a garden club, which is separate from the garden Uxbridge Garden Tour. But like when we have to visit each other, it's like you've crossed Ontario, it feels
I
like,
know.
right? And so
I
all
know.
of this is happening 20 minutes north of
Yeah,
if that of Pickering. And honestly, if I don't know about it, for the most part, not that I know everything, but as a designer as well as with a business in gardening and being the past president of the garden club, it's kind of shocking, right? And you
yeah.
said, I know you mentioned about newspapers, but that's the sad part about missing out on
Oh, yes.
there are newspapers, right?
Yeah, where are they?
Where are
Yeah.
they? And this was the type of information, that you could put in. So yeah, so I'm happy that we did this and that I personally got to learn more. And I think I know I have Ontario listeners as well as people from farther away, but even if you're farther away, knowing that people from all over the world come and everybody has a warm spot in their heart for Anne of Green Gables.
That's right. Yeah.
So you don't have, especially, you don't necessarily always have to go to Nova Scotia or to PEI. You can come to Ontario. So that is wonderful. I'm so glad that we were able to do this. And if you ever expand past Uxbridge, I don't know what happens, right? If you were to do, but I think that's the draw, it is to have everybody around that
To have
area, right?
everybody come.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
so that's wonderful. Well, thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to leave us with?
I think that's it.
Excellent.
I welcome you. If you can't come this year, come next year. Come anytime.
Yes.
And if you can come to see Maud of Leaskdale sometime,
Yeah.
I will send you the details on it, and we would be so glad if you would come.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. Well, thank you so much for joining me here on Down the Garden Path. And I'm just speechless, really, about all that goes into doing this. I know it is daunting, I'm sure. So hang in there. You're at the home stretch, right?
Oh, we're good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And yeah, and I thank you, my listeners, for joining us here on Down the Garden Path to learn about the Gardens of Uxbridge and how to support the Lucy Maud Montgomery Society of Ontario. So I think that's really exciting. So yeah, so everything will be in the show notes, everybody. And if you have any questions, you could visit their website, which will also be on the website or on my show notes. But lucymaudmontgomery.com or .ca.
.ca.
.ca. Okay, perfect. All
Yeah.
right. So thank you, everybody, for joining me here down the garden path today. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.